on. I just knocked over my camera. I'm picking it on. Sorry about that.
Hi my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Wow, I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've done like a history video or like deep dive in general, but here we are. This one's different though because it's a toy that I don't actually have like a nostalgic connection to. Zelfs was oddly enough brought to my attention when I uploaded my Troll Dolls evolution video back in March. Because one of the #1 comments I got on that video was, "You forgot Zelfs," or "What about Zelfs?" or "You didn't talk about Zelfs." Actually, Zelfs get their name from elves, so they are based upon German folklore, unlike the trolls, which are based on Scandinavian folklore.
Don't fuck with me.
Jokes aside though, not only had I never heard of Zelfs, but they never came up in my research into like the trolls, and I dived into like trolls knockoffs too, and not that they're direct knockoffs, but like they would kind of fall into that category of in the middle. But the thing is, I think it's because they aren't as blatant in like the inspiration they take from trolls, besides the iconic hair, of course. The more I went deeper and deeper into the Zelfs rabbit hole, the more I found like just such an appreciation for them despite not being nostalgic for them. I mean, Zelfs give me like huge Novi Star vibes, or even like Fidget Friends, with like a hint of the LPS fairies. So it's safe to say they were right up my alley. Very quickly into the research process, I ordered a Zelf of my own, which we'll unbox at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But before we dive too deep into things, let's hear a word from today's sponsor, Aura. Today's video is sponsored by Aura, and I honestly couldn't think of a better time to be talking about them because hackers may have stolen the social security numbers of every American. Over 2.9 billion records were stolen from national public data, which offers personal information to like employers, private investigators, staffing agencies, and others doing background checks. These stolen records include a person's full name, address, date of birth, social security number, and phone number, along with alternative names and birth dates. So if you weren't thinking of taking precautions with your personal information online before, this could really be your wake-up call, because we've never been more vulnerable online than right now. I know firsthand how scary it can be to have your information compromised, because last tax season, as a first-time tax filer, mind you, I already had an identity theft scare. Basically, my accountant, he tried to file my taxes and we found out that they had already been filed, so me and my mom had to call the IRS, and to this day, we literally don't know why this happened or exactly how it happened. Thankfully though, everything turned out okay, but it was still a very stressful experience that I never want to go through again. That's why I'm not taking any chances now, and I will be using Aura to keep myself protected. Aura will alert me if they find my phone number, email, or social security number on the dark web, and let's say that someone tries to use this information to access my credit or bank accounts, then they'll give me up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. This is only the tip of the iceberg too. Aura also provides a bunch of other features to keep you safe online, conveniently all inside one app. You can go to my link, aura.com/lulaloopsey, to try 14 days for free, which is more than enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data was exposed. The link will be in the description below. Again, I could not think of a better time than now to try Aura for yourselves, because not only is national public data not going to do anything to help you, but they probably aren't even going to face like the proper repercussions for this leak. Especially after my tax scare and tax season coming up, I realized how important it is to be proactive about protecting your identity, so I'm doing what I can to not leave myself and my family members vulnerable to data breaches. Thank you so much again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. You can go to aura.com/lulaloopsey to try it out for yourself, and now let's get back to Zelfs. Zelfs were a line of collectible dolls and or figurine toys. I don't know what they'd be classified as, to be honest, but a lot of sources when I was like looking into them called them dolls. Released by Australian toy company Moose Toys at some point in 2013. We aren't going to spend too much time talking about Moose Toys since I covered that pretty extensively in my Shopkins video, but the SparkNotes version is Moose Toys was close to going under in the early 2000s, but now CEO Manny Stoll took a risk deciding to buy the company and successfully saved it. The man is a full-on billionaire now. That should tell you everything you need to know about like the success that they were able to reach since then. It's safe to say though, a big part of that success was Shopkins, which were created to specifically cater to girls as a counterpart to the Trash Pack. So similarly, around this very same time actually that Shopkins were being created behind the scenes, Zelfs were launched. They launched before Shopkins with the same idea in mind, wanting to cater to girls. But they weren't like a counterpart to anything, obviously. The inspiration for Zelfs actually comes from a clay artist named Amber Matthews, who makes these like goblin creatures called trollflings. They're actually super cool. I would highly recommend you check them out. And Moose Toys thought this too because they reached out for permission to make the Zelfs toy line based upon Amber's creations. And of course she gave them permission and the rest is history. So this was super cool to discover because although Zelfs aren't around anymore, obviously, she still sells her creations, her trollflings, on her Etsy, and you can see pictures of like all of the ones she's created on Instagram, and you can just really see that like essence of the Zelfs still in their faces. Now, when learning all this, you might think, okay, it's a little obvious that her creations take inspo of elements like from the original troll dolls, and that's very true, but this has led to the misconception of trolls and Zelfs being like related. According to troll doll collector Mara, who has delved into the history of both Zelfs and trolls on her TikTok account, which also showcases her really cool extensive collection, there was actually rumors that spread pretty early on that Zelfs were the newest incarnation of the troll doll. Which is weird, right? Because the name Zelfs, trolls, like that's not alike at all. Well, this is the rumor. The rumor was that they changed the name due to the rise of the term internet troll and not wanting to cause any confusion.
A lot of people like to compare the Zelfs to troll dolls of the past. Now, of course, the similarities are clear. Zelfs and the original troll dolls share a lot of similarities. Some people prefer Zelfs, others prefer trolls. Personally, I like both. When Moose Toys initially announced the Zelfs toy line, there were a bunch of news articles that were posted online from toy websites and such saying that the Zelfs were the newest incarnation of the classic troll doll and that they'd changed their name from Zelfs to trolls in order to avoid confusion with the idea of the internet troll. You know, those nasty people who leave really weird, shitty comments on all of your posts. So in the minds of some people, Zelfs were just the newest version of trolls, but that wasn't quite true. Though Zelfs and trolls look a lot alike, they're not really related in any way. Zelfs were a creation of Moose Toys. They were nothing to do with the original Dom trolls. So though they look like trolls, they're not trolls. But they kind of are troll adjacent.
This is only one collector's perspective, of course, but Mara still has a huge love for Zelfs in her collection. She showcases them, it's very obvious, she's talked about this. But even then, she doesn't consider them troll dolls. They're more of an extension of her collection. That was the exact word she used, and I'm in agreement as somebody who has researched the trolls history extensively for my other video. And when I was reading comments on that video of people confused why I didn't mention Zelfs, the first question I asked myself was, is that even possible? Considering DreamWorks got the rights to Trolls in the spring of 2013, right before Zelfs even hit shelves, and the movie was announced as early as 2010. So that just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't really get the correlation, but at the same time I do. Now, we're gonna move on, but like, please keep DreamWorks Trolls in the back of your head because we actually are gonna come back to it later. What was my first impression of Zelfs? Since I know all of you are probably asking,
you care about me so much.
Well, going into this blind between learning about Trollflings and reading the Zelfs backstory on the Internet Archive of the website, I immediately understood the hype. This is so up my alley, as I said earlier, but to get the full effect, I need you guys to re-immerse yourself with me. So we're gonna take a look and read the Zelfs like lore or backstory that is available on the website, in the archive of the website. It reads, when the twilight moon is in the sky, Zelfs appear in a secret garden called Zardenia, an enchantical world of magical habitats disguised as garden stuff. Like a butterfly cocoon is now Zardenia's trendiest flitter pad. It's a Zelf habitat. Get it right? Unfortunately, I feel like this should have like a purple heart behind it. Just see for yourself. Love yourself. And Zelfs give you special powers. Anyway, we haven't even gotten to my favorite part, okay? The way it's like described where they live, please, please prepare yourself. Zelfs live in oh so whimsy, funky-licious, magical garden called Zardenia. Each Zelf has their own fabitat tucked all the way over in Zardenia, and yes, it's Zelf-tastically fab. I was gonna say imagine, but like, I don't really have to. I didn't know what Zelfs were, and I read this, and it was going in one ear and out the other. Anyway, let's continue. Amongst many fabitats in the Zelk tree, you'll find these hair-raisin characters sipping potions at Witch Brew Bistro, rockin' out in the Rock Garden, or swappin' convo at Buttershy's Flitterpad. Oh, and the moonlight reflection on the watering can? That would be Vampula checking out her fantastic reflection. OMZ, this is already so fun. So Zelf your Zelf already. We dare ya. Okay, we're done. Did you take it all in? Just by taking a look at that little background, story, or lore for the Zelfs, this website is truly adorable. Like, aesthetics-wise, I'm obsessed. My favorite part has to be like the little dragonflies flying around the website, because you can actually like catch them by using the cursor, which is this like little net, and clicking near them. After you catch them, not only is there a little counter at the top of the screen to keep track of like how many you catch, but they actually turn into these like little hearts on the like page. I love attention to detail so much, words cannot describe. Why don't we have fun toys like this anymore? I feel like it's so rare because a lot of children are more into like skincare and stuff like that. I talked about this in my Shopkins video too. As you can tell, luckily most of this website is still intact and you can actually explore it for yourself via the Wayback Machine, but the one element that I'm convinced is completely lost is the create your Zelf, which is exactly what it sounds like. You could turn yourself into a Zelf using pre-existing templates from Series 1 most likely. You could make your Zelf Sona, if you will. I want a Zelf Sona.
This is quite disappointing.
There's no gameplay of this online or any photos or general information that I could really find besides this super short unsourced fandom wiki. According to that fandom wiki, take this with a grain of salt as always, users could submit them into a large gallery, like their Zelfs, them as a Zelf, yeah? They could be submitted to a large gallery and then you could view everyone's Zelfs that they made. And that really answers the main question I had about this game was it a virtual world? Because those dominated the 2000s and even into the 2010s. So my immediate question was this a virtual world or was it a mini game? I love me some virtual worlds and I need to really talk about some more of them in 2025. But the closest hint we get to like what this really entailed, create your Zelf, is when you click play on any archive of the website after 2013, this text pops up, but other than that, we're pretty much in the dark with that one. Anyway, speaking of Series 1, according to Kidscreen, the Zelfs brand was set to be showcased by the Canadian-based licensing shop at the Licensing Expo in Las Vegas in June of 2013, the line consisting of small, medium, and large Zelfs. The large Zelfs were actually known as Super Zelfs to collect. Each of the 12 characters set for release could be identified by their hair and special power represented by a Zelf mark. So for example, if we take a look at this chart here of the Series 1 Zelfs that I downloaded from the Zelfs official website, and we pick, let's say Vampula, because I think she's cool. We can see it reads her name, the variants of her there are to collect, like different sizes and such, which you can check off as you go. This is probably meant to be like a checklist. And her superpower, which is beauty. The Zelfs also come with hair accessories, including extensions, clips, and brushes, which can be worn by the toys or their owners. The Series 1 Zelf characters included Angelala, Buttershy, Elfa, Flammy, Garny, Howlette, Little D, Luann, Marmalade, Peggy Sue, Splinda, and Vampula. Each series also has a rare or limited Zelf character, with Series 1s being Miss Clover. I'm unsure on the exact amount produced for each of these limited or rare characters. Information was very scarce, like when it came to this topic, although the fandom wiki does say 10,000, but no source is cited. So again, take that with a grain of salt, although it probably isn't far off from the truth. But alongside the release of these Series 1 characters, there was also a playset called the Venus McFlytrap Salon, which included an exclusive Zelf named Tressa. The gimmick of this playset was you would take your Zelf's hair and you'd stick it inside this like fly trap plant, and then you'd press the button on the salon chair, which would spin the Zelf around and around, twisting their hair, and then you could put like little hair clips included in the playset in their hair. The playset can also easily fold into this like little potted fly trap plant when you decide you're done playing, which I thought was really cute. Almost every time I'm researching toys I'm making like a video essay about, I stumble upon a review from a channel called Time to Play, and this time was no different, only the reviewer was like clearly frustrated with this toy.
And you place Tressa on the spinning chair and stick her hair in the Venus flytrap clip. Then press the button on the chair to twist Tressa's hair, and then you get to decorate it with the included hair accessories. The hair accessories can be stored in the true drawers, and this whole playset folds right back up so that it looks kind of like a flower pot with a Venus flytrap growing out of the top. Tressa's hair is really not long enough to reach the Venus flytrap clip when sitting down in the chair, and the clip doesn't move up or down to get closer to the hair. So only a small portion of the top of Tressa's hair is going to get twisted. We tried standing the doll on the chair, but it just fell off while we were spinning it. Now, even though we wish that worked a little bit better, this is still a cute playset that will engage kids 5 and up in some creative hair play.
And I watched other reviews for the salon, and it seems like a common problem, though in the Kiwi Collector's video, another user who shared a review on YouTube, she got it to twist correctly, but then she kept spinning it, like for too long in my opinion, which made Tressa lose the twist in her hair and then nearly like left knots. If you have this playset or played with it as a kid, let me know if it worked for you. The reviews, they seem mixed, so let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. It's such a cute concept to me, like this was the playset that stood out to me, but I definitely see the flaws. Other Series 1 releases included our first wave of the blind box Little Zelfs, which were known as the mini planters due to the potted plants, or the plant pots they'd come inside, the Little Zelfs Greenhouse tea set, the Little Zelfs Collector's Tin, Super Zelf dolls of at least 6 of the 12 characters, and Design Your Zelf, which was basically like a blank Super Zelf that came with markers and stickers to decorate, so similar to something like LPS Deco Pets or Color Me Lulaloopsies. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Series 1 was our introduction to the world of Zelfs, and they did a great job at establishing it. Similar to other short-lived toys I've covered on my channel, like Novi Stars or Bratzillas, off the top of my head, the designs of the dolls only got better as time went on. Series 2 was split into two, no pun intended. We had our brand new Zelf characters, which included Teeny Genie, Catsby, Dandelion, Owlmanda, Birchie, Kitsu, Lockland, Snapjack, Flitter, Dorothy Doe, Lady B, Webina, and this series' ultra rare, Julie. Then we had some new different variants of our Series 1 characters released. These were known as the Masquerade Zelfs. This is because they had these little decals on their faces that resembled masks, but besides that, the Zelfs were relatively unchanged, besides some slight differences with their hair. But a general difference between the Series 1 and Series 2 Zelfs was the packaging. As blogger Never Grow Up helpfully points out in their review from 2014, Series 1's hard bubble packaging has more of a gradual slope at the top and sticks out evenly across the front. Meanwhile, Series 2 packaging has these noticeable raised sparkles on it, and the bubble goes closer to the packaging in the section that houses the accessories. The main thing I want to focus on with Series 2 though is our new introduced characters, because while I think Series 1 was a great introduction to the toy line and still had cool elements like wings or webbed ears, Series 2 features characters with horns or antlers, animal ears, tails, and even one character who has these like detailed face feathers. My favorite characters of this series have to be Webina or Lady B, but genuinely the creativity in these designs is so cool to me, and it's understandable why troll doll collectors like Mara would still appreciate these just as much, even if they aren't technically connected. Of course, Super Zelfs were released for a select few characters, and we got more Little Zelf potted plant blind boxes, but the pots were a different color this time. Just like Series 1 had a playset released, Series 2 did as well. Welcome back to Lula Doesn't Know How to Say Names Correctly. This is called, or it's more known as the Toadstool, but it's Twirl and Swing.
Toadstool, twirl and swing. Whoa!
And for some reason, I call this playset that I'm talking about Twirl and Sing. There's There's no singing. We're not in DreamWorks Trolls era yet, okay? Anyway, just wanted to clarify that. And it was the Twirl and Sing playset, which came with an exclusive Zelf named Rabida, and that was pretty much Series 2. Now, obviously, I couldn't find as clear of a timeline for these toys, unlike some of my other deep dives on my channel. Unfortunately, that's just how it is sometimes when you cover these like niche topics. However, we do have years for when each series was released. So that was the beginning of 2014. Series 1 came out in 2013, and then Series 3 comes out in the middle to the end of the year. At least that's my assumption. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding. But Series 3 featured the following new characters: Billy, Chi, Cupid, Dolly, Float, Lullaby, Manny, Pandala, Petal, Sela, Sugar Bunny, Typhoon, and our ultra rare, the White Tiger Zelf. Similar to Series 2, there was like essentially 2 parts to the series. And this time it wasn't just like a re-release or rehash of previous characters, but a whole new gimmick line known as Zelflicious. Or, I mean, I shouldn't say it wasn't a re-release. Majority of it was new characters, but there were some previous characters too. Now, what was the gimmick for this line, you may be asking? Well, they were scented Zelfs. So like Chocola, for example, smelled like chocolate, obviously. In total, there were 6 of these Zelflicious Zelfs in the first series. The others, besides Chocola, were Bubbly, Buttershy, Spelinda, Vimpula, and technically the 7th, Beatrice, who exclusively came with the Be Sweet Treehouse playset, which is canonically the last Zelfs playset to ever release. A new kind of Little Zelfs blind box also debuted with Series 3, which were the Mushroom Pods. These are what caught my eye when I was like looking for a Zelf online to purchase for this video, because I believe you can like take your little Zelf you get in the blind box and display it on the mushroom, and I just think that's absolutely adorable. So we'll be unboxing that again at the end of the video, stay tuned. Something noteworthy about Series 3 though is the Super Zelfs released were actually entirely new characters. In the past, they had just been a select couple characters of the characters that were released, but we got entirely new characters. Going forward, this is how the Super Zelf releases would go as well. Moving right along though, 2015. What a year. Actually, that was probably the worst year of my life. But you know what 2015 did give us? Cindy Moo.
Oh, you found your moo!
Surreal, Flare, Flabelle, Galexia, Oceana, Uma, Polly Roger, Roberta, Scatalia, Smoothie, Stardust, and the limited edition Pharaoh Zelf. We also got another 6 Zelflicious Zelfs, which included Mermelade, Elfa, Rainglow, Leilani, Flitter, and Cheeky Tiki. As far as the little Zelfs go, the mushroom blind boxes were to stay, and we never got any like separate releases besides the blind boxes going forward for little Zelfs, except for in 2013 with Series 1. I don't think I can stress this enough how with each series of Zelfs I like looked into and researched, I found myself wanting to build a collection of my own. Series 4 in particular is super cool. I think Skeleta, Polly Roger, or Barb have to be my favorites, but let me know, yours in the comments. I just can't believe I missed out on these. Like, these are so cool. See, this is why I love being able to do this. Like, you guys are filling me in on things that would have been right up my alley, and I can do the same back to you guys with toys that were really prevalent in my childhood. Unfortunately, no matter how much I love Zelfs, they were approaching the end of their lifeline. 2016 was a big year for Zelfs, with 2 more releases, aka Series 5 and 6, but they were also the last Zelf releases, like, entirely, before the toy line just came to an abrupt end. Series 5 included characters like Batterina, Candy Lou, Daisy May, Finley, Joy Drop, Kula, Roseanne, Royal P, Sneakaboo, Taline, Whiskas, Zebby, and our limited edition Pearline the Angelic Mermaid. Similar to Zelflicious, we got a new type of Zelfs released alongside the general characters of, 5 and 6, which were known as the Crystal Gems.
Okay, Steven Universe.
If you guys remember or are aware of the treasure trolls from my troll video, or I think I mentioned them, but basically they were one of many troll knockoffs, which funny enough, I actually have one right here. His hair is kind of having some issues, but you see the little gem. These little troll knockoffs, the treasure trolls, they stood out like compared to your usual one because of their little belly gems. But I bring them up because that's essentially what the crystal gems were. And in the commercial for them, we see the Zelfs in this like super cool like crystal cave. The Crystal Gems characters included Princess Crystella, Soan, Starkle, Muna, Sugar Bunny, Moonicorn, and Angelala. By the way, that bit about the Crystal Cave, that wasn't important. I just thought that commercial was really cool. It's the LPS tuber in me appreciating a good set. And finally, we've reached Series 6 of Zelfs, which I'm 100% sure came out at the beginning of 2016, just like Series 5, for reasons I'll get into in a minute. But our Series 6 characters included Angel Hop, Fairy Bloom, Frostel, Gargirl, Howlie, Moonflight, Peekaboo, Pretty Kit, Rendo, Skylana, Wishbeam, and the limited edition Zelf, Merry-Go-Round, who, in my opinion, is the coolest. That's why, like, especially reaching this point in the timeline, it's so sad that this had to be the end for Zelfs. Like, how unfortunate that Zelfs disappeared when they did, because they only continued to have more creative and cool designs for these characters. My favorites in Series 5 and 6 by far have to be Skylana, Batterina, or Kula. Anyway, now that we've reached the end of, like, Zelfs, remember how I told you to keep, like, DreamWorks trolls in the back of your head? Well, that's because I was watching one of Mara's TikToks about Zelfs, and she brought up a very interesting point. Interestingly, Zelfs came to an end right before the first Trolls movie released in November of 2016.
Unfortunately, the Zelfs did not prove very successful in places like the United States of America, so some of the later series, which I believe are some of the more interesting series, did not make its way over to the United States, but they did make their way over to places like here, the United Kingdom. Now, Zelfs stopped being produced, technically, in 2016. You could still find them on the shelves for a short while, but they stopped creating any new ones after 2016. And I find that rather interesting, considering the fact that 2016 was also when we saw the release of the DreamWorks Trolls. Now, Moose Toys, those who create the Zelfs, never actually officially announced that Zelfs was stopping because the DreamWorks Trolls were releasing, but it does seem like an odd coincidence that as Poppy and her friends were bursting onto the scene, these Zelfs, which look a lot like the DreamWorks Trolls, stopped being produced.
Before I even, like, considered this, the ending of Zelfs just seemed very abrupt. Usually when two series were prepared to release in the same year, they would, you know, split it up with one half at the beginning, one half in the middle or end of the year. 2016, however, was an exception to this. I also noticed Series 6 specifically is the only series to not have a downloadable Zelfs poster on the Zelfs website. I feel like it's because they just wanted to, like, get them out there, or Moose Toys felt rushed to. It could be a problem with, like, the archive of the website too, that's very possible, but every other poster I was able to download or at least view through the archive, and there was just none for Series 6. No matter like what year I went to, and kept going farther and farther. You are probably thinking, but Lula, the one thing you couldn't stress enough is how Zelfs and Trolls aren't technically related. And while that is true, the similarities between Zelfs and the DreamWorks Trolls toys cannot be denied. Zelfs, although not related to the troll dolls, definitely bear the most resemblance to the DreamWorks Trolls, with their colorful skin, wider faces, pointier ears, and tinier noses. So, in my opinion, I believe DreamWorks Trolls was the reason why Zelfs ended. I couldn't find a direct reason for, like, why they got discontinued when I was researching, but the common assumption I kept seeing, and one that Mara brought up too, was low sales. That could very well be the case, but either way, to me, there is no way the upcoming like revamp of the Trolls IP wasn't at least partially the reason. Honestly, going in blind to like the world of Zelfs, that was one of the first things I noticed before I even stumbled upon Mara's account and her video where she like talks about this as well. I did still want to mention her here because her account is so informative. I love her collection, and it was a big help when trying to, like, I guess decipher the history of these toys and create a, you know, productive conversation. It was her video where she brought up this point about DreamWorks Trolls and Zelfs that had me, like, actually staring at photos of them side by side, comparing, like, little details and all. Also, Mount Rageous was in my top 20 most listened to songs on Spotify this year. I had to talk about Trolls again. Unironically, I'm obsessed with Trolls. Like, ever since my previous video diving into the evolution of the troll dolls, that video gave me an excuse to, you know, watch all the movies, and the music is unironically good. And some of you can relate. The soundtrack, also, I didn't plan this, but besides commercials and webisodes being posted on the Zelfs YouTube channel, the only other thing posted was a Christmas song titled Jingle Zelfs, which is like, okay, it sounds like it was really meant to be for me to post this in December. But yeah, it's basically just a cover of Jingle Bells, but it's like the Zelf version. If that's not a sign from the universe, I don't know what is. With that being said, that's all for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. Shout out to my Patreon members as always. Someone suggested on my Google form for video ideas, obviously that's always linked in the description, to make a vlog of my like behind the scenes process. So I documented the process of making the script for this video. The vlog should be up on Patreon now. If it's not, it will be soon. I have to prioritize getting this video up first, obviously. But yeah, I'd love to do this for every video if you guys enjoy it, because it honestly helped me stay more motivated. I was in a bit of a rut this time, and it's just really cool to show what the process is like, and it's cool to see people that are interested. Now before I go, let's open up our little Zelf, shall we? I haven't even taken this out of the bubble wrap. I have been gnawing at the bars of my enclosure for about 3 weeks now, trying not to open this. I love blind boxes. Like, I'm a blind box fiend. There is nothing that brings me more joy in this world, the same amount of joy and excitement that unboxing a blind box. The anticipation, the guessing what's inside, it's unmatched. Anyway, no one cares. Let's open it already. Oh, it's already, oh wait, they gave me an extra. I was like, is it already opened? I got scared. Sorry, I didn't want this to like fall. I bought it from this seller on eBay that's like, it's like the troll hole or something. So they gave me a little troll. Oh my gosh. It's scary looking. Oh my god, it's so cursed. The head, you can see like that's where there's no hair in the front, so it just looks like it has a flat head. I will appreciate it. I love it so much. Okay, here is our Zelfs. This is what it looks like, the little mushroom. This is so, oh my gosh, this is so unhinged. I'm sorry. I was gonna be like, I'm your Mima, and I think you're gonna be, but I can't even remember. Anyway, let's open this already. You guys are probably, you've had enough of my yapping. It's probably been going for 30 minutes at this point. Do you hear it? No one cares. Okay. How do I even open this? Wait, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I want to take a look at the, okay. Oh, I saw pink hair. That's all. That's my only clue. I want to take a look at the the list so I can make a guess. Oh my gosh. Wow, there's a lot. Okay, so Chi, Sela, Cupie, Petal, Dolly, Typhoon, Lullaby, Manny, Sugar Bunny, Billy, Float, Pandala. I think it might be Dolly. It's either Dolly or, which one do I actually want though? I want it to be Cupie maybe. I don't know, I don't really have a preference. I just saw pink hair, so I'm thinking it's Dolly, and that one's honestly really cute. Okay, let's see who it actually is. I'll let you guys look first. Wait, how am I even gonna do that? Oh, was I right? Oh wait, no! Ooh, who is this? Oh, this is so cute. Wait, let me see. Is this Lullaby? I think so. Yeah, this is Lullaby. Lullaby! I don't know what is going on with the hair. Why does it look like that? Oh my god, it's like shedding. Do you guys see that? No? Maybe you don't? The hair is so soft. Like compared to like, I guess it's because like trolls are obviously older, but like compared to the trolls that I have like 3, the hair is just very soft. Oh, got a, hello? Got a dumpy. Can you even see that? Dumpy. Anyway, this is, I forgot the name already, fuck. This is Lullaby. This is so cute. I like how it's like, I thought it was gonna be yellow when I saw Lullaby on here. Yeah, is this like a rare version or something, or? Oh yeah, there's multiple versions you can get. I think this is like the metallic one. Although this one's not glittery. Oh, it's the second, okay. It's standard finish, pearl finish, or glitter finish. So I got the pearl finish. I feel so special. And we can't forget our, here is my haul. Oh my god, I hate the hairline. Okay, I love it because it's so stupid, but it also looks so scary. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm figuring out my next video, what my last video for this year will be. I'm not really sure yet. It's so nice to just like stroke this. I don't even need the salon, I can just do this myself. Yeah! But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.
Meet the Zelfs, the cutest, terrific friends around. Love yourself.